Shabbat Shalom, Mishpacha. Okay, so we'll make a start on this Sabbath, and also remember the Passover week. Our Passover this year on the Enoch calendar started on the 5th of April and not on the 3rd. And there was a reason for that, technical reason that caused that to happen, and that may be going forward. The day will probably remain. There'll be about a day's difference in the future, and the day's difference comes as a result of starting the new year on a Sunday. And before, there are different opinions on the calendar, and one of the opinions was that you just, before the opinion was you started on the 16th, then there was the opinion you started on the 21 because of the alignment of the stars, certain star alignments. But then there was the opinion that you have to start it on a Sunday, and not just an opinion, but actually there was things related to that, discussions in the ancient past between sages, and why they wanted to start the calendar on a Sunday and not on a other day. So therefore we had to make that switch for those who want to follow the Enoch calendar. Now, I'm not saying that you have to follow the Enoch calendar. I know it's not practical for a lot of people who are working to follow the Enoch calendar. Why do I say that? It's very simple, because if you are following the Enoch calendar and you're a working person, you're going to find it extremely difficult to manage your Sabbath. And the reason for that is very simple, because the Sabbath on the Enoch calendar this year, it starts on a Tuesday, the priestly Sabbath. Every Tuesday we have the Enoch Sabbath, the priestly Sabbath. So, and remember, the Enoch day starts sunrise to sunset. Now, in the past, what happened was that, our ancestors or our sages, some of our people, for whatever reason, whether it was due to, pressure from other nations, or whether it was due to the exile, they started to do a lunar calendar day. And the lunar calendar, there's a lot of opinions that it came from Babylon and this, that, and the other. But, fail to that argument. Forget about the argument. Whatever the reason was, let's call it some of the sects. There was about 3 or 4 sects. So the 3 or 4 different denominations of Torah at the time, one decided that they want to do a lunar Sabbath, not a lunar Sabbath as in the traditional, like some groups do it, not that, I mean by the moon's date. And the moon's date, like this year, the evening of Saturday, April 12, like, tomorrow night the Sabbath the Passover starts tomorrow night on the moon date. And then it finishes on April 20. So some people at the time decided that they want to do the Sabbath based on the lunar, because they said, we're going to celebrate our days now, or our day is going to start from sunset to sunset, opposed to sunrise to sunset. So, and that's fine. I'm not here putting those people down. There's no need for that. If some people decided they want to keep the day on a moon day, like a moon calendar, I am perfectly happy about that. However, I just want to say, from the family that I came from, the priests, the Levites, the sons of Aaron, they always stuck to the temple days. The temple days is written in history, and you can access that history through the Jewish encyclopedia, and maybe even the Encyclopedia Britannica might have some information on that. But the Jewish encyclopedia states very clearly that the temple followed sunrise days. It can be proven through that historical evidence that we always followed sunrise days, meaning our day started when the sunrise began and our day ended when the sun set. So that leaves 2 people now. You can align with the temple priests, or you can align with the other people who invented the new calendar. What was the new calendar? In the 4th century, around about the 4th century CE, after the birth of Jesus, Yeshua. After his birth, they decided they want to switch to the lunar calendar. And plus they invented a new model of Judaism. And the new model of Judaism incorporated a lot of Rabbinic Judaism. And Rabbinic Judaism said things like, of course there was no electric at that time, but as things developed in the 16th century, 17th century or 20th century, as light became available, they said you can't even switch on a light. That's considered work. So ridiculous things started to appear in Rabbinic Judaism. Ridiculous things that appeared in Jesus' time as well. And those things was like when Jesus healed the blind man. Jesus healed the blind man with his spit and a little bit of the clay of the earth. He mixed it, he put it on his eyes and he healed him. And they said that was work. And they said, why did you do it on the Sabbath? Well, you were permitted, according to the Torah, you were permitted to heal a person on the Sabbath. Now, so they challenged that. Then they challenged that is work. Him just mixing his saliva, with a little bit of clay, they called that work. So ridiculous things started to happen, and they still exist. Rabbinic Judaism today, if you lived in Rabbinic Judaism, you'd be a slave to Rabbinic Judaism. You will have no freedom. You can't switch the light on. You can't switch your engine on the Sabbath. You can't do this. You can't do that. It's a lot of things that they make you do that are totally unnecessary. They have no connection with Torah whatsoever. So we don't follow any of that. However, this is why I said that if you wish to follow the Sabbath based on the moon dates, I am perfectly happy with that. I have absolutely no problem with you following the moon dates, because I really don't have a problem with it. I really don't. And I'm happy if you want to follow the moon dates. I am happy for you, okay? Because some people, like I said, I myself agree that the Enoch Sabbath is very restrictive for people who work. People who work, they can't do Sabbath this year on Tuesday, and then next year it'll be on Wednesday, then the following year it'll be on Thursday. How are they going to get a day off on a Tuesday this week, Wednesday next year, and Thursday the following? No employer is going to give them that day off, because because of work week in the Gentile world today is from Sunday, or normally let's just say weekend off, Saturday, Sunday off. So the working week is Monday to Friday. So it is much practical, and I appreciate it, and I say it myself, that it's much practical to do the Sabbath on the Saturday. It's much practical that we do the Sabbath on the Saturday, but I say the festivals, at least we can do it on the proper calendar. Now, if that's a problem for some people, because they're working and maybe for whatever reason the Hanuk calendar Sabbath or the festivals have problem for them, then sure, they can switch it to the moon dates, lunar ones, and they can do the Jewish rabbinic calendar moon dates. Again, I got nothing against it. So those of you celebrating the Passover with the lunar dates, that's tomorrow night. Beware of that, and you can do that. And some people may want to do both, and that's okay too, because in Israel sometimes we had 3 Sabbaths, sometimes we had 3 Passovers. One Passover was celebrated one day, then another one another day, then another one another day. We did have that in the past as well, so it's not an issue. So I really wish you all a real happy Passover. Those of you celebrating the Hanuk one, and those of you celebrating the lunar one tomorrow night, I wish you a very, very happy Passover week ahead. Passover time is we remember the part of slavery that occurred to our people in Egypt, how they were forced into labor, forced to make bricks, and forced to be subject to the kings in Egypt at that time, and to serve them. And that was all prophesied in the book of Genesis when God spoke to Abraham, our father Abraham. It was all prophesied. So, anybody wants to know, they can go read the book of Genesis. Anybody wants to know what happened to our people, they can go read the book of Exodus. And it's a good time for you to, if you have children, small children, You can read parts of the books of Exodus at this time that talk about the Passover. It's a good way to tell our children that this is what we went through, this is what happened, and beware, that you give God thanks for your freedoms today. Yeah, absolutely. Give God thanks for your freedoms today. Baruch Hashem, that's absolutely wonderful. That's great to do that. Teach your children, even those that don't know, maybe your friends who are around you, who ask you, you can teach them. Okay, let's come back to subject of, I guess, the subject of food. Today, I had that subject on my mind because I wanted to speak about it. And I wanted to say that a lot of the information that you are fed on the internet is actually not accurate. Let me see, the fat diet industry, is worth $200 billion or more. Okay? The diet industry. The diet industry is worth $200 billion or more. You know, and I know that a lot of people in the US are overweight, and they want to reduce their weight down. And if they want to reduce their weight down, they have to go to, I don't know, there's myriads and myriads of diets out there. And so this global industry, not the US, the global industry of reducing fat is worth well over 200 billion, maybe even $300 billion. The US industry alone is probably, somewhere $150 billion somewhere. So it's a big industry. It's a money-making machine. So it's their interest. It's in their interest to teach you to do this diet and that diet and who knows what else. Okay, it's in their interest to do that. And why do they do that? Well, it makes money. It makes money to tell you that, no, hey, you can't eat meat. Hey, you can only eat vegetables. Hey, cut down on sugars, cut down on carbohydrates, and blah, 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 and blah, 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 and on it goes. It's in their interest to do that. Do you really want the Bible? And I'll speak about the Bible, the whole Bible. I'm not just talking about the first five books of Torah. I'm speaking about the whole Bible. All the 66, animal meat, like sheep meat, cow meat. Does the Bible tell me I can't eat it? The answer is God does not tell me anywhere in the Bible, especially in the law. The law is the first five books. God does not tell me that I cannot eat meat. So I don't care what anybody says out there on TV, on social media, TikTok, on some other channels, that you can't eat meat. My answer is, get away from here. There was a guy on TikTok, right, some young kid, right, saying that you shouldn't drink water because you're not meant to. What kind of rubbish is that? Our body is largely made of water. The person I study under is a physician, a doctor. My teacher, who was a doctor as well, I'm a physician from him. My teacher taught me that your body, and I'm talking about the UK, United Kingdom, really great teacher. He was a doctor for the NHS, and he taught me that your body, 88% is water and 12% is ash. And then over the years I heard different figures, 70%, 30%, and then, 78% and 22% or whatever. But he was right. I've always stuck to his words, and he's absolutely right. Your body is 88% water and 12% ash. What do you think your body needs to function? What do you think would happen if you stop drinking water? If you stop drinking water, that'll be the quickest way to kill yourself, because you'll die the fastest. I think if you don't eat and you just drink water, I believe you can survive 40 days. Depending on your health, of course. Depending on how healthy you are, and in what kind of state you are, it is believed that alone on water you can survive around 40 days. And I don't think everybody can survive 40 days, by the way. I don't think so. I think some people may not even last 10 days. Some people without food might even die in a lot less time because their bodies can't cope. But according to what I have heard and seen, some people have gone on 40-day fast and have lasted 40 days. They have had no food, only water fast. They fast from food but drink water. Now, part of that, they also consume salt a little bit every time because your body can run out of salt very fast. So let's talk about salt. Let's talk about blood pressure. And yes, I'm a physician and I can say this. You should not be removing salt from your diet at any time. I've had a number of times to tell people not to stop eating salt because they hate it on the media, all this crap that the media puts out, different people putting out that you shouldn't eat salt because you have high blood pressure. Listen, you're going to get a high blood pressure if you don't eat salt. When you eat salt, it will regulate your high blood pressure. It will bring it down. A number of times I had to tell people who were suffering from low blood pressure and high blood pressure, eat more salt. One woman almost fainted. One woman that I know almost fainted, and I had to tell her to put salt in her diet. And she was eating minuscule salt. And she didn't even have high blood pressure. She had low blood pressure. And one day she almost fainted. And I told her, I said, when was the last time you ate salt? I said, when are you going to start eating your salt? Because you need to take a pinch of salt and put it under your tongue twice a day and eat it raw. Twice a day. Pink salt or sea salt are the best variety of salts I recommend. Pink salt, sea salt. And in America, you have some great varieties of salt. A little bit more pricey, from these lakes. In Utah, there's a lake, they produce salt. And there's one called real salt. You might find it on Amazon. It's a little bit pricey, but it's supposed to be good salt. However, you don't need to pay big dollars for it. You can buy regular sea salt from Walmart, Target, wherever. You can eat it. That's great. Or you can get pink salt. That's imported out of Pakistan. Himalayan salt. That's great. You can eat that. But eat salt. Regular intake of salt will prevent and control your blood pressure. And maybe, one day you'll remove all your medication if you're on medication for blood pressure. And the whole idea of medication is business. It's a business for you to continue to take medicine, to continue to pump money into the big pharma so they can make their money. It's a business model. Hospitals are a business model. And that's fine. I'm not here railing against hospitals or big pharma, but I'm telling you that they're all business models. We did not have hospitals 2,000 years ago. We did not have hospitals. We did have doctors. Majority of the priests in Israel, majority of the priests were doctors. Luke was a doctor? It says it in the books. He was a doctor. And how many other doctors are mentioned in the book, in our books, in our holy books? So we had doctors, and they would recommend you herbal remedies that come from trees, leaves, flowers, whatnot. Okay, so food. If you want to lose your weight, now come back to food. If you want to lose your weight, do not diet. You know what I came down to? Came down to this. DIE. T. Remove the T. If you want to die, you take your diet. If you want to die, because all the diet's going to do is going to kill you. Yeah? I'll be point blank. Rabbis have to be truthful. A diet will kill you at some point. There was a top-notch cardiologist in India, in the Ambani hospital. Top-notch man who did advice on diet for people with heart problems. Top cardiologist in India. And guess what happened to him? He himself died from a heart attack. Top cardiologist in India dies from a heart attack. Imagine that. And why? Why did he die? And because he was on a diet. And he was only 41 years old. And let me give you his name, Dr. Gaurav Gandhi. Dr. Gaurav Gandhi, 41-year-old, died from the fatal cardiovascular complication. And he had performed more than 16,000 heart surgeries. He was a top famous doctor in India. Yet he was on this some stupid diet that killed him. Do you think that you can go to him for your advice? What do you think? A man who only lives to 41 years? And it's no criticism to him. It's just that the bad information that he was taught as a student, what he read in the books, from his school books, his medical books, he followed those. Yet he's supposed to be helping other people, but he can't help himself. So what do you think? Would you want to go to him for your advice or what to eat? A lot of the information that is fed to you from the so-called fat diet industry is fed from books, and people are brainwashed into believing things that are not true. If you want to lose weight, it doesn't matter how much you weigh. If you want to lose weight, you need to eat. You need to eat. Yeah, you need to eat. Yes, no fasting, you need to eat. No intermittent fasting, you need to eat. The American Heart Foundation found that people who do intermittent fasting, they have 91% more chances to die early. Let me repeat that. The American Heart Foundation found that people who do intermittent fasting, they have 91% more chances of a heart attack. Okay? How's about that? If you want science, then you can go look at science. But I'm not giving you science. I'm giving you information that can save your life. Do not stop eating. Eat. Eat. When you eat regularly, like if you're from the subcontinent, people who are from the subcontinent, they eat their chapati, roti, they eat their bread, they eat their, dal, their idli, they eat their different meals. But you need to eat all those different meals. Yeah, you need to eat all of them. Whatever they are, eat them. Because when you give your body constant fuel, your body will burn fat. What does your body need to burn fat? Constant fuel. Where's constant fuel coming from? From food that you eat. From vegetables you eat, meat that you eat. That's where your fuel comes from for the body. If your body gets that, your body can deal with itself. You will live a long life. If you just did that. And there are times when you eat fruits and there are times when not to eat fruits. Like you do not eat fruits in the late afternoon. If you want to eat fruits, if you like your bananas, you like your oranges, you like your mangoes, sure, eat them. Eat to a heart's delight. But not in the late afternoon. Late morning, yes. Early morning, late morning, yes. Late afternoon, no. Do not eat fruits after 3 p.m. in the afternoon. If you want to eat fruits, then don't just eat one piece. Like, if you eat lychees, take 10 lychees and eat 10 of them. If you take bananas, take 2 bananas. In India, in Pakistan, bananas are smaller size, 4 of them at a time. Take 4 bananas and eat them, 5 bananas, eat them. Lychees, eat 10 at a time, 15 at a time. Grapes, eat a whole bunch of grapes. Don't take, grapes and take 3 grapes and eat it and then say, leave the rest for later. No. Eat it in one go. But between morning and early afternoon only. Do not eat fruit at night. Yeah, you can occasionally you can, but don't make a habit of it. Try to make a habit only in the morning to the early afternoon. And the rest of the day, you want to have your meals. Your 3 meals is fine. And you can eat everything. If you prefer to eat a McDonald's burger, sure, eat a McDonald's burger. You're not restricted from burgers. Eat one burger if you like. In the week, if you feel like once a week you feel like McDonald's, or twice a week, take it, eat it. That's fine. You will still lose weight if you follow the program I'm giving you to eat. The Bible does not tell us nowhere not to eat. Have you noticed how we don't have fasting. In the Torah, we're only told to fast one time and only on one day, Yom Kippur. We're not told to fast anywhere else. Only one day, one time. Notice that. How come God, who created us, doesn't tell us to fast all the time? How come He doesn't tell me to fast intermittently? Because it's not necessary. By fasting intermittently, what happens? You weaken your bones, you weaken your heart, and you end up killing yourself. Yes, you can fast. Let's say you decided to fast for a week, or like the Muslims, they fast for a month, or the Catholics, they fast for 40 days, Lent. Let's say you did your Lent, or let's say you did your 30-day fast, and then you resumed your food. That's fine, because those people still eat in the evening. When they start their fast, they still eat their food at the end of the day, when the fast is over. They're not remaining starving. So that kind of fast is not bad for you. That's not an intermittent fast. Intermittent fast these days is a trendy way to say that if you want to build muscles, if you want to lose weight, you do intermittent fasting for 16 hours a day, every day, 16 hours. By the way, that is very unhealthy and is very dangerous to do that. Yeah, very dangerous to do 16-hour fast every day, because you're going to end up killing yourself, weakening your organs, weakening your bones. You will end up killing yourself. Don't do that. Don't follow that kind of advice from anywhere. You want to be on you want to eat your dal, your dosa, your idli. You want to eat that if you're from the Indian subcontinent. Your biryani, your korma. You want to eat all of that. Eat it. Now, if you're a Western person, you want to eat your, if you're into eggs, eat your eggs. If you're into meat, eat your steak. Yeah, eat it. If in England, because they eat bacon and eggs, they're into their bacon and eggs and they eat their bacon and eggs. That's fine. We are not allowed to eat bacon because we are prohibited, according to the Torah. We cannot eat the meat from the pig. We're not allowed to, so we don't. But we're allowed to eat meat from the sheep, the cow. Those you can have it. If you don't have it in your breakfast, you can. If you want to eat fish, you can. You can eat your fish, fins and scales, no problem. You can eat it. We can have all of that. There's no dieting there. But eat your salt. Eat your salt and eat your sugar. And this idea that, one piece of bread contains 100 whatever calories, who cares? That's BS. That's total nonsense. God never said that your one slice of bread contains 100. That's just myth, made up myth, mythology. Don't listen to any of that, but mythology. There's a lot of myths out there that are taught to you, and some of them are related to the industry that are trying to sell you stuff. And they'll tell you to eat brown bread and not white bread. Total myth, not true. Eat regular white bread. Our ancestors ate regular white bread. They did not have no brown bread. Our ancestors did not have brown rice. They had regular white rice. Eat your regular white rice. If you're an Indian, or if you're from the subcontinent, Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, you eat your white rice. Whether that comes as a basmati or the other varieties, mainly eat those. Eat your regular white rice, whatever they're called. Basmati, there's different names for them. Eat them. If you're from the subcontinent, eat your white rice. Ignore the brown rice. Do not eat brown rice. Stick to the white rice. Stick to the white flour, your chapati, your roti, your bread. Stick to it. That's the best food you can have. Dal, your lentils, stick to it. Best food you can eat. Eat your lentils. Eat your roti. Eat your bread. If you're in the Western world, you want to like to eat your white bread, eat your white bread. Stop this brown bread nonsense. You don't need quinoa. You don't need chia seeds. You don't need spelt. This is all a fancy way to make you buy and pay for expensive stuff. You don't need it. You just need your regular white flour from the regular wheat that's grown, white flour. That is the best for you. That is what's designed to give you energy. So stick to that. The animals that God created, the animals that get their energy from grass. Let's talk about a deer. A deer eats grass and leaves. and a deer can run very fast. So if a deer can get his energy from grass-fed meals, then what makes you think that the earth can't supply your needs through wheat and rice? A lot of the world's staple diet is wheat and rice, and that's what you should be eating. Eat your white rice, eat your white bread. Ignore this idea that you have to have brown bread and brown rice. That is total nonsense. It's not true. It's a fake idea. It's mythology. Nowhere in our holy scriptures are we told that I have to have brown rice and brown bread. No, we're not taught that. And neither do you. At Passover, what do? At Passover, we make unleavened bread. We don't put yeast in it. For 7 days, we eat unleavened bread. So, why? Because God is trying to remind us that when we were in Egypt, that we had to suffer over there. And in order to remind us of that suffering, to teach us that God is blessing us with abundance, we need to stop, looking at the ways of the world. So we have to eat unleavened bread for just 1 week. And after that, we can go back to the other bread, we are regular bread, pastries, whatever. Back home it's naan bread, which is made from yeast. We're just not allowed to eat naan bread this week. So eat white bread, eat unleavened bread, and you're good to go. Eat your regular white bread, and you will lose weight. If you eat bread, if you eat rice, regular rice, and remove spelt, remove rye, remove quinoa, this is all baloney. This is all fake news. It's bad information. Don't do it. Don't do any of that. I see so many people's shelves full with quinoa. What is that? Quinoa, a load of rubbish. Stop doing it. Stop killing yourself with these nonsense ideas. You want to eat foods that God already created for you. Wheat was created for you. Rice was created for you. Eat it. You'll get the best results in your health. Eat your regular 3 meals a day. You will lose weight with that, because your body gets constant fuel to make you lose weight. That's what you should be on. Regular meals. Eat, variety. In your meal you should have fish, you should have meat, you should have vegetables. Eat all of it, and you'll do well. You'll have no problems. You'll have no issues whatsoever. I know a lot of people with diabetes who went on regular meals. Their diabetes sugar went to normal. They no longer had to take medication. Why? Because they were told, don't eat this sugar and don't eat that and don't eat meat and don't eat this. And guess what? They kept going downhill, down and down and down, till those people were hospitalized. But what happens if you start eating regular foods? Eat your bread, your roti, eat your dal, your lentils, eat your vegetables, your different foods, eat your meat. No problem. Those people started to get better. There was a man I met back home, and the man was told me that during this COVID period, at one point he became really sick, and he ended up being in a wheelchair. He was a real estate guy, and he said that from one hospital to the other, he was paying good money to get well, and every doctor was trying to put him on different medication, but they couldn't tell what was wrong with him. He didn't have COVID, he didn't have influenza, he just had very lot of weakness, and maybe recurrent fever or something. Then there was a Canadian doctor in one hospital he goes to, and there was a Canadian doctor visiting there, a Pakistani doctor who was from Canada, maybe a man of good heart. And the man looked at him and said to him, "What are you doing over here, and what are you here for?" He said, "So and so. I'm getting weakness, I'm getting these recurrent problems, and I'm in a wheelchair now, and I don't know what to do." You know what he said to him? He says, he told him quietly, "Leave this hospital as soon as you can. Go home and eat everything. There's nothing wrong with you. You will get well." He just whispered into his ear, "Hey, listen, I've come from Canada. I'm visiting over here. Listen, go home, eat everything, don't ever go to a hospital again. You'll be well." And the man listened to him, and he was out of that hospital back home, and he started to eat everything. And guess what? A week later, 2 weeks later, the man's completely healthy and whole. He's walking. He's talking, he's walking, where's a wheelchair? Is somewhere dumped in the outside, of his home. Why? Because of one kind doctor who told him, no medication for you. Don't listen to anybody. Just go home, eat everything. There's nothing wrong with you. It's because of you putting yourself on different diets that you're losing. Your body's in weakness. But he told him quietly, don't tell anybody. Let's go. Don't tell anybody I told you. Because he didn't want to get prosecuted from the hospital. He was only a visiting doctor. But anyway, my point is that there are some good doctors as well who tell you these things. So, eat everything. Make wholesome meals. Eat the fruits that you like. And, oh, by the way, the nuts. Yeah, they tell you to eat almonds and pistachios and all these expensive nuts that you buy. You don't need to eat them. You don't need to buy them. You don't need to eat them. Why? Because the nut industry, the almond industry started from California. 98% of almonds in the world that are sold come from California. They wanted to promote almonds in the world and wanted to sell them at big dollar. So guess what they said? They said almonds have vitamin E. By the way, there's no such thing. It's all fake. Everything you read on the internet is fake on almonds, on vitamin E. There's no such thing. Almonds don't have vitamin E. It's just faked out to sell. And guess which association or body said the almonds were good for you? The Association in California of Almonds. The Medical Association in California. Of course you're going to say it because you produce it. You're the ones produce the most almonds in the world. You're going to now deceive the people and lie to the people that your almonds are the best and they have vitamin E when they have nothing like that. They have no vitamin E. You don't need to eat almonds to get vitamin E. You eat your regular foods. You'll get your vitamin E. Regular foods that are grown out of the earth. Our good God taught us to out of the earth. That's where you get your vitamin E. And guess what? Almonds. What is almonds represented in the Bible? The almond rod. Remember the almond rod? Aaron's rod. Remember? Moses' rod. Well, that was the almond rod. Almond simply specifies, it means God's trustiness and God's faithfulness to us. That's all almonds represents. They don't have no vitamin E in there, but they do represent God's trustworthiness and faithfulness towards His people, towards us. We are His people. That's what almonds mean. Don't put any more meaning into it. Don't try to put any more vitamins into it because it's total faked out news. Fake news, lies. They make you buy expensive almonds. Why? Because of fake news, fake information. Be very wary. Everything is geared towards fake. How many times have they been telling everybody that they went on the moon? How many times have they been telling everybody that Arnold, the first man on the moon, landed on the moon in whenever, 1950s or 60s, whenever he landed. And guess what? The man died in depression and misery. The man, in one of the videos that I saw, some guy, he was, trying to interview him, and he said to him, here's a Bible, put your hand on the Bible and say that you landed on the moon, and I'll give you $5,000 that you can give to whichever charity you want to. And the man refused to do that. Did you know that? That clip is out there somewhere. The man on social media, this man says to him, to the first man on the moon, I want you to put your hand on the Bible and say that you landed on the moon. And the first man on the moon would not put his hand on the Bible. He refused to. Because he never landed on the moon. It was all faked out. It was CGI scripts. So, next time when you go outside at night, and you look in the sky, and all you see is these bright stars near you. These are all satellites, by the way, hanging off balloons. Hanging off balloons, yeah. They're not out there in space, thousands of miles away. They're not even stars. They're satellites. Because you'll be able to tell the stars The way you tell the stars is they'll be at a vast distance, and they'll be much smaller and much less brighter. You will then be able to tell, because you'll see all the satellites in the sky at night that are close to you. And you know, most days the moon in the US is hidden anyway. They spray this chemical in the air and then they hide the moon. And then you go out most nights, you don't find the moon. Guess why? Because it's hidden behind the clouds, are artificially created by this things that they spray in the air. Only in the US, by the way. They don't do that anywhere else. So in the US, they spray some stuff in the air and makes a cloud, and then it hides the moon. Why are you trying to hide the moon? My question was this: why are you trying to hide the moon? What's special in the moon? Why don't you hide the sun? But you're hiding the moon. You know why they hide the moon? I have a theory, and it's just my theory, it's my opinion. Count it as my opinion only. No one certified it, no one put a stamp on it. This is my opinion. Rabbi Simon Altev HaKohen's opinion. The moon is very powerful. The moon is for abundance, prosperity, great health, for love, for goodness, for everything. It's the moon. It draws in prosperity. The more you gaze at the moon, the more you're going to attract those things. That's why I told you to get the noise from the sea at night. Remember I told you sea noise at night? The moon shining on top? You're going to get the result with prosperity and abundance. And if you do your affirmation at night, you're going to get the best results when you do it at night. Not in the daytime. Yeah. That's why I keep telling you after sunset. That's why after sunset. A moon has much more power. So why do they hide it? I believe, my opinion is that they hide it because they don't want you to acquire that power. They want you to remain in a misery. They want you to remain as a loser. They want you to remain down and out. They don't want you to prosper. But God is going to prosper you. God is here to prosper you. God is here to give you abundance. No one can stop that. If you're a woman and you're not having children for some reason, because of whatever, you sit in the moonlight for 40 nights, you will give birth to a child. That's the power of the moon. For abundance, if you sit under the moonlight in your yard or your rooftop back home, as people do, and you speak your affirmations, even if you whisper them slowly, or you speak them in your mind, or you speak them out loud, whichever way you do it. You can whisper it, you can speak it in your mind, or you can speak it out loud. Whichever way, they will come to pass much faster if you do it in the moonlight. And you can just go out and stand and just whisper it, or you can say it in your mind. So those things will manifest much, much faster if you did it that way. Do you know that? Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? Things that they've hidden from us. The moon has much, much more power than what they tell you. Get as much of the moon as you can. There's a lot of power in there. Especially when the moon goes into a lunar eclipse. A lot of power in that. It's a great night to do affirmations and meditation. So those of you who are trying to manifest your desires, your jobs, your things, I'll give you very simple. God didn't make it hard. You can write your intention. You can tell God that I want to have a job, or I want to have $10 million. Then God will make the openings for you. Now you start to believe it. And you can write your list every day, as billionaires do. Billionaires write lists. You write your list every day and write everything on your list that you want. The car that you want, the job that you want, the business that you want, the clothes that you want to wear, the phone you want to carry, the laptop you want to work on, everything. Write it on a list every day. 10, 15 items, 20 items, write it on a list. If you do that, you will do well. Slowly, all of those things will start to manifest. Just by you writing in the morning when you wake up. First thing in the morning you wake up, you write on your list. Last thing you go to sleep, you look at your list, you read it, and then you go to bed. God wants to bless you. Jesus came to the earth to bless you. Jesus did not come here to judge you or to put you to death. He came to bless you. The Master Yeshua is here to bless you. Are you going to listen? Are you going to carry on running around and doing everything else but not the right thing? The right thing to do, I've given you a few examples here. So, I'm not going to make this long. I want you to have a wonderful Sabbath, wonderful Passover. Until next time, shalom, shalom to you.